Welcome to Math Time with Mrs. Sturzer. This episode is dividing fractions in word problems. Okay, this episode is going to be how to solve or make sense of word problems using division of unit fractions and whole numbers, and figuring out which number goes first. This one says Mrs. Sturzer uses 1/6 yard of ribbon to make a border around an equilateral triangle. How long of a yard is the piece of ribbon that Mrs. Sturzer uses for each side? So let's take this apart here. First of all, the problem's about Mrs. Sturzer making a border around an equilateral triangle. Well, how many sides does a triangle have? The triangle has 3 sides. Okay, so we know we're dealing with 3 sides here and 1/6 of a yard of ribbon. Okay, what's it asking? Well, it's asking how long a yard is the piece of ribbon that Mrs. Sturzer uses for each side. So we see some keywords in here of each, which lets us know we're dividing. So this is why modeling is so important, because you need to draw this out. So if I have 1 yard here, okay, and Mrs. Sturzer is only using 1/6 of that yard. So I'm going to divide this yard into sixths. Okay, I'm going to choose red for my color of ribbon. So I have 1/6 yard of ribbon here. And I am going to divide that into 3 sides. So essentially I'm saying I have 1/6 of that yard of ribbon divided into 3 sides. And it's asking how long of a yard a piece of ribbon. So that's going to be 1/18 of a yard is each piece, or each side and each piece of ribbon. All right, so let's move on to this next one. This one is Mrs. Sturzer makes 2 pounds of bread dough. She splits the dough into 1/4 pound loaves before breaking them into the oven. How many loaves does she make? So if I'm splitting, that means that I know I'm dividing something. So I have to think about it. Okay, what is important? Well, we know that she has 2 pounds of bread dough and we're splitting them into 1/4 pounds. So in order to do this, I need to draw the 2 pounds of bread dough, which means that I'm drawing 2 holes, which means that the 2 holes is going to go first. And I'm dividing them into 1/4 pieces. So I'm going to split them up into 1/4 pieces. And then I've made my loaves. And there are 4 pieces in each loaf. And I basically times that by 2. And I get 8 pieces. So when you're deciding on which goes first, the fraction or the whole number, you have to look at the problem and you really have to make sense of it. All right, so let's look at this word problem. Mrs. Sturzer has 4 sheets of paper for making cards. Each card requires a half sheet of paper. How many cards can Mrs. Sturzer make? Why don't you pause the video and see if you can figure this out? Does the whole number go first or the fraction? Okay, let's look at this. So we have 4 sheets of paper. The best way to solve these is to draw the 4 sheets of paper. Those are some lopsided sheets of paper there. We're going to cut them in half. So we have 4 sheets of paper divided in halves. Well, how many cards did I make? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I made 8 cards. Pizza will each of them get? So the best thing to do is to draw the pizza. So you need to draw the whole pizza. We're going to split it up into fourths. Here's my pizza, some red sauce here, add a little dots of cheese. There we go. Okay, so I'm sharing it equally with my best friend. So that means that there's two of us, so I'm dividing it into two pieces. So we have 1/4 of a pizza, we're dividing it into two pieces. It's asking how much of the original whole pizza will each get. Well, this is the whole pizza, and we split it in two. So each one of us will get 1/8, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1/8 of the whole pizza. So the best thing that you can do when you're dealing with word problems with division is to draw a model of it to make sense of it. Is it starting with a fraction of something? If it's starting with a fraction of something, then you start with a fraction. If it's starting with whole numbers of something and you're asking how much it ended up being, then the whole number will go first and you model the whole numbers. So hopefully that helps you understand how to figure out division of fractions with word problems.
Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep learning and growing. Mrs. Sturzer out.